Hi, my name is Zane Feemster. When I say the name Babe Ruth, I think instantly you know what I mean. It's kind of like Pele in soccer or Picasso in art. The name means something to you. So when I say the name Babe Ruth, I think you know I'm talking about the greatest baseball player of all time. He actually held two of the best home run records of all time. One for being the most career home runs, and two for having the most single home runs in a season. So he was a great player. In fact, he was known as Sultan of SWAT. Now what you may not realize is that actually he sacrificed bunted 113 times. So if the Sultan of SWAT would bunt that many times, I think he considered it important. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about the sacrifice bunt. Now I played baseball since I was 5 years old, and I've played a lot of different games. And I've actually bunted a lot of different times. So I know a lot about the subject, played in a lot of different club teams in which I was called upon to bunt and things like that. So I have a lot of experience in the field. I'm going to teach you something tonight. Now, I'm going to tell you three things about the bunt. One being what it actually is, two being the situations in which you use the bunt, and three being the steps you take to execute the bunt. So what a bunt is actually placing a baseball, softly hitting it into the infield just like this. You're going to place the ball into the infield, trying to get hit or trying to move runners over. So that's what the bunt is. Now, situations in which you use the bunt are really, there's two major bunts that you're going to use. One being the drag bunt, which is from your position, dragging the bunt across the plate, dragging the bat across the plate, trying to get a hit. And that's the main key. It's usually made for lefties who are fast, who think they can fool the pitcher by doing that to get on base for a hit. The second one is the sacrifice bunt. And that is where you're actually going to square around or turn your body before the pitcher releases the ball just to move runners over. Now that can be a runner from first or a runner from second or even both, that you're just trying to move into position for the person next to you to score. Now make sure that when you do that, you have your feet spread apart, shoulder width, just like this. You have your chest tall. You don't want to be leaning over when you're trying to bunt. You have your chest tall and your hands in ready position. So on the sacrifice bunt, what you're going to do is you want to make sure you're going to pivot your body. You want to turn and face the pitcher before the ball's thrown. So you're going to pivot your back foot towards the pitcher to where your chest and your whole body is facing. Now what you're going to do with your hands is something a little different. Instead of just going like this, you're actually going to take your top hand and move it to the top of the handle. Now when you do that, you're going to square around, put your hands in the correct spot, and if you notice, my bat is actually not horizontal like most people would think. You actually want your bat to be diagonal to the pitcher, and that's because of this. When the pitcher throws the ball and you're bunting, you want to try to hit the ball on the ground. You don't want to pop it up, you don't want to hit a line drive. The goal of a bunt is to get the ball on the ground. So by placing the bat in this stance, the ball's going to hit the bottom of the barrel. So you want to make sure you have the bat just like this at the top of the strike zone, so anything below it, you know it's a strike. Now make sure the grip, that your hands are not like this. If you wrap your hand around the bat, you have a very good chance of getting hit by the baseball and breaking one of your fingers. So what you want to do is you want to take your thumb and your index and your pointer finger, and you want to place them right around the top part of the bat just like this. And what this will do is two things. One, it will make sure your hands don't get crushed by the ball, and two, it will actually cushion the bat when the ball connects with it. So what that will do for you is it will give you a little more accuracy with where you want to put the ball, and it will soften the ball up so as you're not going to ground up to the third baseman or the first baseman. So that's the stance of the bunt. But what you really want to make sure you do is if the ball is above your bat or below your bat, you don't want to move your bat just like this. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is adjust the ball with your legs. So if the ball is lower than the bat, you want to move your knees, move your legs, just to get to eye level with the baseball, to place the ball where you want to go. And if it's above you, you want to move your legs up like this. Now, what you want to make sure you do when you square around and you're going to bunt is you want to get it down the third base line or the first base line. So when you square around the bunt and you have the correct stance, you want to turn your bat with your hand that's the inside to you. So you want to turn your bat, if you're going to the third base line, away from you, and that's going to direct the ball to the third base line. Or you want to turn it to the inside of you, and that's going to direct the ball to the first base line. Now, I've told you about the drag bunt and the sacrifice bunt, but really I want to talk to you about one of the best times to bunt, one of the coolest things you can see in a baseball game is called the the suicide squeeze bunt. And it's a variation of the sacrifice bunt in which you're going to sacrifice yourself as an out, but you're going to try to score a runner from third base. And so what's going to happen is you have the same stance you had with the sacrifice bunt, but you will actually, a runner's going to come home from third when the pitcher goes to the plate. So when the ball comes to the plate, that runner is already coming, and so you're going to have to square around and actually hit the ball in any case. So if it's in the ground, you have to hit it. If it's up high, you have to hit it, because that runner's coming home regardless of what you do. And so what you want to make sure you do is really get eye level with the ball, and you have to hit the ball no matter where it is. So if it's high, you want to get it. If it's low, you want to get it. And make sure you use the same fundamentals you use for a sacrifice bunt to execute it. So if it's over here, you might want to square and do that. Or if it's inside, you want to do that. But whatever the case, you want to make sure you get the bunt down, or else the runner can have a chance of getting out. And so in the game of baseball, now that you know how to sacrifice bunt, I hope as you watch a game, or as you watch a game in person or on TV, that you'll actually know what the runners are doing and the hitters are doing when the bunt's played, and you can say that, man, he really laid down a great bunt. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you know how to bunt now.